Hello, everybody, or nobody, once again. Voice crack. This is episode 2 of the podcast. What was the name of it? I actually forgot the name of our podcast. Help. Help.
It's the Knights
Help.
to the Fall.
We need to
I
start.
think
Anyway,
I take
it's
over.
the-
I think
The
I'll take
name's
from
on it,
here.
it's fine. Just keep going, it's fine.
This is the Knights of the Lunch Table podcast.
It's fine. Nobody needs to know the name. Anyway, okay. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, okay, so this is the Knights of the Lunch Table podcast, episode 2. Today we're talking about just crazy people, interactions with those crazy people, or just weird interactions with regular people. I guess I'll go first with my story, which is that, so I had an interaction with normal people that were dealing with crazy people. This is kind of a heavy one, but so I work for a delivery service, a company that offers a delivery service. I won't say which one, because I don't want to get in trouble.
Probably a
So
fair point.
I go to deliver the items, and the customer is like already waiting outside because they got it like they explained after I got there and everything. They explained that they had received a text from not from the company that I work for that that their uh, items were on the way, and like apparently throughout the whole rest of the day they had received other texts from these people, these like random people, and that weren't connected to the company at all.
That's weird.
But yeah, apparently, like, from 2 in the morning all day, they were getting threatening texts about, we're gonna come to your house, we're gonna kidnap you, whatever, we're gonna... There's some really dark stuff that I don't want to say on here.
Yeah.
Probably for the
You know,
best.
Creepy.
for fear of, ratings or whatever. I don't know how this stuff works. But, yeah, some really, really scary stuff. And they were like, we're almost to the point where we should call the police. To which I was like, I would have called the police immediately. Like, what are
Right?
you talking
Yeah.
about? You're almost to the point. Like, there are people literally sending you threatening text messages and then sending items to your house, like, with other
Wait,
threatening messages, basically
they were
implying
sending
that
shit to them?
Oh,
yeah, like, that's
and they're
what,
Oh my
like, they
God.
didn't
on
order...
that.
Yeah, they did not order the stuff that I was bringing to them.
Yeah,
This
I
was...
would have called the police right away.
Yeah. So, I left them with, like, the like, delivery ticket or whatever,
Yeah.
so that they had all the information on it, except the problem is that it was all, like, their own information, basically.
Oh.
Oh,
Like, the only thing different, I think, was the name. Like, it had somebody else's name on it. But, like, the phone number was there, the address, like... So, yeah, that was
That's not
real
good.
sketchy. But yeah, I was like, that is terrifying. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't know what
that's...
to do. I was like, do I stay here? Do I call the police? Like, what? Yeah, so, hopefully everything is all good over there.
So that
So-
sounds
Yeah.
like a rough day.
so what's the chance that it was a prank inside the house if all the information is theirs already?
So as far as I understand, it's a thing that's been, like, recurring, and, like, you can... I don't know how to say this that it doesn't sound like, I don't know, dumb. Anyway,
Terminating?
so basically, you can. I'm sure most people know about this, but you can effectively, like, tap somebody else's phone and order stuff through that phone, and a lot of people have, like, their address and stuff associated with their phone number. So I'm
Makes
guessing that's what was happening. Not that I'm friggin' super detective Batman or anything, but
I'm Batman.
yeah, from everything they were saying, it seems that, yeah, they were just some random crazy was like ordering items through this person's, through the kids, because there was a kid. He was like, I don't know, like 14, 15-year-old kid. So they're ordering items through his phone number to send to their address and like threatening them and stuff. So yeah, that's
That is
that's
creepy.
real
quite
scary stuff.
disturbing.
Fair.
Yeah. So follow that.
Okay. I mean, I have two different stories.
Yeah, I also have
yeah.
two, but if you want to go first,
Yeah, I was
you
gonna say
can.
we'll just do a little round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, you go, and then
So,
Kyle can go for
what
one. And
when I lived down in Milwaukee, which living in that part of the city wasn't very uncommon to have stuff like this happen, but when I worked for a specific store, again, will not name names, I was sitting out in my car waiting for my day to start. And I just remember I was parked next to my coworkers, sitting there on my phone, not even thinking about it. I watch a car pull up behind me, pretty normal. It's a retail location, people come in and out all the time. And next thing I know, my coworker's car, there's somebody in it, thinking, oh, maybe they know who they are, maybe they needed something out of the car. And all of a sudden, I watch two of my coworkers come out, like in like oh, we got to see what's going on here. This is not good. So I step out of my car thinking, okay, I'm going to help them because more people, the better, less problems could happen. It was people trying to steal the car, which looking back, the car that pulled up behind me was the exact same model of the car. So whoever was trying to steal it knew how to get around its systems and whatnot. And all of a sudden, the car comes whipping back around. These two guys pop out. One of them has a screwdriver in his left hand, which that'll be important here in a minute. And another guy just comes up. They're bigger people. Again, not gonna describe them too much because I think the investigation was still kind of going at the time. But yeah. So all of a sudden they start attacking me and one of my other coworkers. One runs inside to get a phone to call the police and all that. And bless this kid's soul, he took quite a few hits. He was down. Like he was probably about size, like just a real scrawny kid. But he could take a few hits. Like, I'm surprised he stood up as long as he did. And then the guy with the screwdriver comes charging at me, and he throws a punch, which you would think with having a weapon in hand being assaulted, like, you would probably want to use that to have the advantage. He didn't. He socked me square in the face, like, just, and it's still to this day, if you were to take, I can't remember which side it is, I think it's my left side. If you were to take a right fist and sock, like, just puzzle piece it in right where my eye sits, it fits perfectly.
Oh.
And yeah, like, kid took a swing at me, and all of a sudden, he stops. Because, like, I don't know if I was just adrenaline rushed or if I was just, not even feeling the punches this kid was throwing. He dropped the screwdriver and ran. As well as his buddies ran. As soon as he watched him take a swing and back off from me, he was gone. I'm like, what just happened? And yeah, that was kind of one of my, and I remember very vividly afterwards because I had texted my mom. I'm like, hey, just let you know, I got attacked at work today. I'm fine, nothing to worry about. I just wanted to let you know so you're not scared. And yeah, that's how I got assaulted working at a retail job in Milwaukee.
Jeez.
So, Tyler.
Actually, so this is kind of funny because my second story is also going to be about getting attacked at work. So at least we're along the same lines.
Yeah, okay.
Crazy people
Kyle?
are crazy people, man.
Yeah,
Crazy
well,
people are crazy.
I guess I'm taking my stories in a different direction.
It's probably a good idea.
That's probably good.
I can't all be attacked at work, I guess.
It's probably a good thing because, like, otherwise this would be a very depressing podcast.
Very.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's not depressing. But...
Well, I mean, it's interesting to see where different, like, in different parts of the country or state where things happen.
But, like, when I was working at Goodwill, like, there's
Wait, you worked at Goodwill?
I did for a little while, like, a year and a half.
Damn.
Yeah, it was interesting. But periodically there's a lot of strange people that just come through and don't say normal things, I'd say. One of
NPC
them
characters
that
got
came
it.
through donated a bunch of mannequin heads with wigs,
Oh,
a clown mask, and then proceeded to tell, well, it was man and woman pair, and one of them proceeded to tell me, "Don't worry, the world's going to end soon," and then left. And to this day,
okay.
that still sits rent free in my head.
Jesus.
Just
Don't
what do
worry,
they
the
mean,
world's gonna
and what were
end
they
soon.
doing with that stuff?
So yeah, I think
Whew.
I'd have one big question for that lady, like, which is what exactly is soon?
You're right.
I'm just
Because
like,
like,
those situations are like when some of the people say like, "Hey, God bless you." Like I don't know how to respond to it, so I often just like, "Thank you," and just
Dude,
walk
I
away.
I actually had that for those of you that are listening that don't know, I currently work IT for a hospital. While I was up in Rhinelander a few weeks ago, I had kind of the same thing where it was like this dude, like bless his soul, he kind of explained himself and it all made sense. But he's like, "Oh, bless you for doing such hard work." I'm like, "Dude, I'm just IT. I don't actually do that much." He's like, "No, no, because without you, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be going on and a lot of stuff would be broken. So bless you for doing all this work." I'm like, "I guess, thanks, but that's I just started here."
You're like, "Thank you," and just like finger guns at them. Just
No, but like it was sweet that he went about his like took time out of his day to thank like a hospital worker. And I'm not saying I'm a hospital worker, I'm IT for a hospital.
yeah,
But it felt nice and I actually felt really good that day.
that's kind of a good story at least
It
amongst
was.
these bad stories that we've had.
Well,
yeah,
and a couple times we had to walk back and through, and the guy was, I think he might have been visiting his wife or family member or something, and he said it to the whole lot of the IT team I was working with, and it was like, that's really cool, really sweet that he's thinking about other people.
Yeah, it is really nice.
yeah, I always thought that was kind of odd. Like on
A
my
little
end, I
bit.
got that a couple times. Like I'd deliver something to somebody and be like, "Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, working during these times because it was during the big part of the global
The
situation."
big events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was always just kind of like, I mean, I'm just doing my job. Like it's really not.
I'm just doing my job, man. You ain't gotta worry.
Yeah.
Although I will argue that my job is not an essential service, in my opinion.
No, I'm sorry.
But
Fast food, retail stuff like that was not an essential service
yeah,
throughout this whole thing.
there's tons of things that are not actually essential services. Like they use that term so broad. Like I do not and have never worked at Burger King, but as an example, friggin' Burger King is not an essential
Burger.
service.
I
Hey,
mean, for a
hey.
little while, Goodwill was considered essential. Like after a month,
Well,
they
yeah,
brought us
because
back, and like I guess it's because they provide like certain services for like people, but like the
yeah.
stores don't. But oh
But
well.
yeah, I'm sure people will completely agree with my sentiments there, and
Well, like,
absolutely no one will ever argue that at all.
Or it'll fill
and
up the
like
comments somewhere
the
wherever it
comment
is.
section, but
Yeah,
like,
Hey man, engagement is engagement.
I
but
guess.
no, I kind of agree with that because when I worked at a fast food location that shall remain unnamed, I remember the first few weeks of it just we shut our lobby down. Obviously, one, we didn't have enough people. Two, it was unsafe to have people inside the stores, yada yada, whatever. Okay, made sense. Our drive-through lane was always full, day through night. It's like, you guys, go home and eat. Go home and make all. And it wasn't like one or two people out on the road that were like, trying to get home or people that had. It was always people that just got done shopping, like at Walmart, at Target, at these places. It's like you have food, you have your ingredients, substance. You made the trip out to go get something. You're gonna stop at another place, not only to risk yourself, but the people with you, other people that are working there, to go and just eat fast food while
The
there are
shopping is
people.
so tiring. You can't expect them to cook after.
But
No.
and it was like at midnight, at like 1 in the morning. It's like, you guys, go home. This is ridiculous. And I said that to quite a few customers. I'm like, why are you guys out right now? And I wasn't saying it as being like, fuck off and go home. I'm just like, why are you out right now? They're like, oh, well, we ran out of food, which 100% makes sense. If you're out of food and you went to go get it, great, that's fine. You're providing for your family, you're making sure they're safe. And 9 times out of 10, there was usually one person in the car. But mind you, with the line being full day in and day out, 9 out of 10, that was still a good 30 to 50 people where it was just a packed car. And that, like, none of them were wearing masks. They were all complaining. And that was another thing with my job site was we didn't get plexiglass like now you see at, like, McDonald's and Walmart and everywhere else you go. We didn't get that till, like, 4 to 5 months into that thing. And they just expected us to be okay with it. And not only that, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. This wouldn't happen to be the same company that I also worked for a time, would it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that checks out.
The place that rhymes with Carbies?
Yes.
Okay.
Which, weirdly enough, I have another story I'll tell you guys after this. But yeah, so, and it wasn't even like a fully surrounded piece of plexiglass. It was maybe a 2-foot or like a 2-foot square piece of plexiglass that was hanging on chains. It wasn't even touching the counter. And I was tall enough I could look over it. If people were short enough, they could look under it. It was nothing special.
So it was like a foot of plexiglass, maybe?
Basically. And it just hung from the ceiling on these chains, and the company was just like, oh, you guys will be fine. It's like, are you kidding me?
We'll ride this out.
And not
Some
only
of
that,
you may die, but that's a risk we're willing to make.
Okay, Lord Farquaad, relax. But then, like, on the exact opposite end of that spectrum, our drive-through, you couldn't put food through it. They put so much onto it. Which, again, makes sense. You want to protect the people that are inside, but you have to make it big enough that people can hand money, can grab the food and their drinks and all that. And it's like, you guys can't min-max this properly. You're doing this wrong. And then right as I was, like, in my last few weeks was when we started getting notice of, oh, well, employees are now required to wear masks. It's like, we are 6-8 months into this. Why now?
And you guys should have been wearing masks from the start.
And some employees did. Some employees took it upon themselves. I'm like, you know what? That's great. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to because it's already been 3-4 months I've been exposed to this stuff. I'm just going to ride it out. Which, again, I state, throughout the entirety of all this happening, I didn't catch it until almost 2 years after. So, sorry, that just bugged me and I had to say it.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. That I think that fits under the subject well enough. But a quick tangent, you reminded me of this. So you were talking about, like, the tiny ass little plastic thing that's basically like a sneeze guard.
Pretty much.
So have you ever been to a buffet where, like, the sneeze guard is, like, way too high?
Oh yeah.
To where, like, children and stuff are just completely under the sneeze guard, which
they're just
are probably the people that you need them for.
So most restaurants.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the buffet.
I think that's why a lot of like Pizza Huts have started to get rid of their salad bars entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Also,
good salad. No.
I was at a certain buffet place.
Establishment.
Yeah, it's like it's like a buffet place. I was gonna try to cleverly nickname it, but I can't do it without, like, completely giving it away.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's this really popular buffet place, right? And they do not have sneeze guards that are too low. They have, in my opinion, sneeze guards that are at the right spot. So this is not anything against them specifically. This is about the person that I saw at the buffet. This dude was, for some reason, had his head tucked under the sneeze guard, like leaning in over the food to put stuff onto his plate.
What? Is it see-through?
Yeah.
You know what's funny was
it's completely clear. Like, I don't know what he was doing.
What was funny
Like-
was you stated that, and I remember growing up being that kid that just stuck my head into the buffets. I'm like, I wonder what's in here.
Oh God, maybe it was you.
What kind of hidden things are on here? In here?
There's literally signs that tell you what's in there.
Well, mind you, I was also like maybe 3 feet tall, and the buffet was like 3.5, so I kind of had to look over.
Ah, I see. You couldn't read. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, I could probably read, but it was just enough that I couldn't
No,
see it
No,
from the proper angle.
that's just your excuse. You couldn't read. Anyway.
We couldn't read until the prime age of 15 years old.
And even then, we still can't read.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? I still haven't gained. Anyway. Yeah, you were talking about getting attacked. So, wait, everybody else took a turn, right? I don't want
Yeah.
to interject.
Yeah.
Okay.
Round robin.
So yeah, my story of getting attacked again happened during the the
Global event.
situation. Which,
The
by
Backstreet
the
Boys
way,
reunion.
can anyone explain why that seems to have brought out the craziest of people? Like,
I think it's because of the long
There are so many
isolation
YouTube
and
videos.
suddenly people just like bust out and like, I gotta do something.
yeah, like there's just so many crazy videos on YouTube of people just being the most insane. Like,
Florida
there's
Man.
one. So this is a weird little tangent, but like one of my favorite ones is the lady that's like full on charging at the like restaurant door and just like bashing herself into it. And she's like licking the door and like she's like licking the glass door. And, like somebody on the inside is she's like, oh my god, it's like I Am Legend or whatever.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Crack is a hell of a
like-
drug, Tyler.
Okay,
Just,
that was
what
right,
the fuck
man.
is wrong with these people? Anyway, so I had not quite that happen, but along the same lines. So for a time, my company required masks, which I didn't really have a problem with. It's not a big deal. If you complain about wearing a mask and don't have a legitimate reason to not wear a mask, shut the fuck up.
I have a health condition.
Okay, show me
Yeah.
your fucking papers. Like, I'm sorry. But anyway. Okay, yeah, so my story of being attacked at work. So the company that I was working for was requiring masks at a certain point, and I didn't really have a problem with it. So I just, I wore the mask all the time. Some people took the masks off while they were doing deliveries. Other people, like, just kept them on all the time. Because, some of us aren't selfish dickheads. Anyway, so I'm wearing my mask. I get out the car to deliver the stuff, and the lady, like, is coming out of the door because we have like a little delivery app that like tells you when your delivery's nearby or whatever. Like all delivery services now do basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get out the car to go up to the door. She comes out of the door and is immediately like shouting at me to like take off my mask and like flipping shit. Like somehow me wearing a mask is like directly attacking her. So yeah, so she comes out the door already screaming and stuff, talking about how like me wearing a mask is like endangering her somehow. I don't understand the logic there, but I was like, sorry, ma'am, it's company policy. I was like, I can just I'm like, I can just set the items here on on the ground or whatever on your little table outside and walk away. Like we don't even have to interact. And she's like, no, I want you to take the mask off. And she starts like walking at me.
No.
So I'm just standing there. I like have the items in hand. I'm like, ma'am, please, I'll just set it down and I'll go. Like, just I'm like, you can do whatever you want in your own house, but this is company policy. I get in trouble if I take the mask off. And she's like, no, that's not gonna take off. And she like keeps walking at me. I'm like backing up towards the street, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because like you know how you can see crazy in people's eyes.
Crazy a mile away.
So yeah, I just keep backing up, and I think that pissed her off even more because she like started like coming at me quicker.
Started
She's, like,
power walking at you.
yeah, at a certain point, she's like lunging at me, and keep in mind this is all within a matter of seconds because there's only I don't know like 20 feet from the door to the to the edge of the street.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she's like it gets to the point where she's actually lunging and like swiping at my face trying to pull the mask off, which wasn't gonna work because it was one of those ones that goes like all the way around my head, like around the back of your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So all she was gonna do was that like cartoon thing where you pull it back and then let go and it goes psh, on your face. See, I'm like lunging back and I'm like, what the hell? And it got to the point where like once she like actually swiped at me, I straight up just turned around, like basically like half jogged over to my car, tossed the food in the passenger seat and drove off.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
she didn't get her items because that's what happens when you try to do that type of shit to me. Is okay, you don't get your shit now.
I mean,
Oh
I probably would have
god.
just thrown it at her.
So,
No, because then
It
he would
hit
have
the
been in trouble
ground
for
and then
assaulting.
just like the no, you just do like the oh god, what is that? Like like how like how jets have like the flares that they shoot off. You just do that with the items. Just toss them across the yard and run away.
Just
Hopefully she'll
open
be
up the
distracted.
container and just yeet everything.
Yeah.
you have to throw it piece by piece, though.
Yeah, individual items at a time.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
won't
Yeah,
catch me.
he's yeet them all over the yard and then tuck it. But yeah, luckily I didn't get in trouble for anything like that. I got back to where I work, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll just basically like cancel the order or whatever." Or
Like
like,
blacklist her and
yeah.
yeah.
So
God.
that was a fun time. I was like, "This is like for in my head, I was like, this is some fucking
This
I don't
is
know, man.
Some
crazy.
wild shit.
Yeah, I was like, this is for real, some like television movie shit. What the hell? Like,
Florida man.
yeah, that's
Uh,
my story of
Like
being attacked at
Resident
work.
Evil infection kind of thing.
oh god.
Show me your face so I
Yes,
can infect you.
that's kind of how I felt. I got like it got to the point like towards like as I was driving back, I was like, I'm 90% confident that she was infected. Like,
Yeah.
She's infected. Oh god.
yeah, is it bad that I have that thought when I see these crazy people that I'm like,
No.
I wish somebody would just come in from like air quotes off screen and just fucking clock them
Off screen.
like with that I Am Legend video where the chick's just like plowing it. I just keep envisioning somebody coming in and just punching her just so hard, just sprinting in and wham. Oh my god, that would have been so satisfying. I swear I'm not a violent person.
But it would have been funny.
Yeah.
To a certain degree,
See,
I guess, yeah.
I guess my next story's not as bad, but
Actually,
again,
can I share
same
mine
location.
first? Because it has
Yeah,
something
go
to do
ahead.
with crazy women.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my second story is from when I was still living up in Wausau and working at a grocery store.
Ah.
There's a lady that came in pretty consistently, like 2 or 3 times a week, and just goes and walks around all the aisles with her cart, like talking to herself randomly about like how she found Jesus. Like not like a
God.
religious person, but like if she actually physically found Jesus. And
I found Jesus. He's over on 3rd Street.
I
Something, I
figured
don't
out
know.
where he was. I win hide and seek.
like she just talks to herself going through the aisles, and it's just weird as hell. But one of my interactions with her was when I was like stocking shelves and like doing pricing. Like I have to carry on a walkie-talkie so I can talk with my other people in the offices.
Yeah.
But one of the times I had to use it, and I was talking to one of the people in the offices, and she just walks up to me and suddenly starts yelling, "Hey, this asshole is using his cell phone on his job. Look at him, he's using his cell phone. What an asshole." I was like, what's going on? Like, one of my friends were there, that like lived in dorms, and he was like trying to defend me from her. It's like, yeah, he has to use it for his job. It's part of it. But like, she didn't listen at all. She just kept yelling. But
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Uh,
I love those stories so much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel
Eventually,
like
eventually she actually got it, like, escorted out of the store by police because, like, she was yelling at people. So, yeah.
I
Cool.
don't know. I feel like maybe you were the asshole in that situation.
I'm just doing my job. I don't know.
Exactly,
But
you were
I
the
mean,
asshole.
fucking, how dare you do your job? What the hell?
Yeah, right?
Oh God. Now, see, I have two stories to choose from, and I don't know which one I want to go more with. Um, I'll give you guys the option: either crazy lady that doesn't know how a sandwich is made, or
Ooh.
a dude that doesn't understand how closing time works.
I kind of want to hear about the sandwich.
Say those are kind of both really good. See, I was kind of leaning towards closing time, but that's only because of the song. Uh,
Fair. I mean, if we have enough time, I'll share the
yeah,
closing
I was
story.
gonna say just start with the
So
crazy lady that doesn't know how sandwiches work.
Yeah.
so again, at the same food establishment that both me and Tyler previously worked at years ago, um, this lady had come in, and bless her soul, she was probably an older lady. I don't really know how much to describe her. I just remember the whole situation surrounding it. So she came in and ordered a BLT. For those of you that don't know, that is a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Nine
Very
times out of ten,
simple.
that's him. Yes, very simple sandwich. Most of it's in the name of how it's made.
Also
Nine times out
gross.
of ten, yes, also gross. But 9 times out of 10, that sandwich is accompanied by a simple sauce known as mayonnaise. So this lady comes in and orders a BLT. Obviously, when you think of most of those ingredients, what is supposed to be the temperature of that sandwich?
I mean, given bacon, 165.
Okay, you are going way into that, but I just meant like, in general, that is not supposed to be a heated sandwich, like
Is it
microwaved, fried, stuff like that.
I mean, it
yeah,
depends. You
bacon is
could,
supposed to
like,
be
toast the bread and
Well,
stuff like
yeah,
bacon is
that,
but
supposed to
but
be cooked to 165.
so
yeah.
yeah, once it's
BLT is
cooked, it
gonna be
doesn't
cold.
matter.
Because you don't want
So,
warm lettuce. That's fucking gross. I mean,
yeah,
warm. I mean,
warm
lettuce by itself is
lettuce.
gross, but warm
Now
lettuce
the
is even
lettuce
worse.
must be 165. And
Jesus. But like, yeah, so warm lettuce, warm tomato, it's usually pretty gross for those of the people that eat that kind of sandwich.
yeah.
So, and mind you, I'm also the only one working at the time because half my staff decided not to show up. This was the time I was a manager. I could run the store by myself. Great, didn't care. Lady comes in, orders her BLT. I'm like, okay, let me go in the back and make it since I'm the only staff member, so it'll be with you in just a minute. Make it, get her fries, get her drink, whatever. And I hand it to her. And she gets really salty with me because she comes back. She's like, "Why is my sandwich not hot?" I'm like, "Well, ma'am, it's a BLT. Most of the ingredients are meant to be cold. If you want the bacon warmed up, I can absolutely make you a new one. I'll heat up the bacon and it'll be nice and fine. I promise." She's like, "If you could, okay." She's already being a little salty, but I understand. Bacon's supposed to be a hot item. I get it. So I make the food for her, hand it to her. Don't see her for the rest of the day. I think, okay, that solves the problem. She comes back in the next day complaining about the same problem. And on top of all that, she kept the sandwich I made her. The second sandwich, not the first one. She ate the first one, which kind of pissed me off, but the sandwich was like $4, so we weren't losing any kind of money.
Yeah.
So she comes in second day, complains about the same thing. I'm like, well, ma'am, yeah, that sandwich is a day old. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
And she complains, well, I want a new one. Well, ma'am, that was already a remake. If I'm gonna make you a new one, I have to charge you for it now because
Yeah, it's
you've
a
already
different day
eaten.
completely.
Yeah, it's a different day. You've kept the sandwich for almost 24 hours. I can't abide by that.
Yeah.
And she gets all pissy and says, I'm gonna call corporate this and that. I'm like, ma'am, I understand you're frustrated. Here's the number. Have a good day. I just wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Come to find out, corporate or like the higher offices called me directly. I guess because they have my number on file. They called my phone directly. They're like, hey, listen, I know you're not supposed to be on your phone at work, but this is just that lady, the lady you dealt with the last couple of days. We took care of her. We understand it's not your fault. Come to find out, she had like Alzheimer's or dementia or something where a lot of her stuff was just backwards.
Oh.
And like most of the time, I'm a pretty patient person, but when she got mad at me for not knowing how to make a BLT right, I kind of lost it. And Mind you, the giving her the corporate number may have been added with, "You tell them whatever you want, because I'm not dealing with this shit," and walked away. So I could understand her being a little mad at the way I said it. But yeah, crazy lady doesn't know how sandwich works. There's actually another small sub story I can add to this one, where at this location they have sliders. It has roast beef, Swiss cheese, and diced fire roasted jalapenos, which most of you know jalapenos are green, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And fire roasted usually means the point of it's slightly charred. There's a bit of like black tinge to it to make it, a bit tastier, right?
Yeah, it kind of
Following me
brings
so
out the
far?
flavor a little bit.
Okay. So you're all following me on this part then.
Yeah.
Lady comes in a week after she bought 7 sliders, all different sliders. She claims that she puts them in the fridge, heats one up as she goes, which, hey, makes sense. They don't necessarily go super bad if they're cooled down and heated up immediately.
Yeah.
And she pulls out this roast beef with jalapenos on it. She says, "This sandwich has mold on it." I'm like, "Well, ma'am, that's our diced jalapenos. I can grab some from our back line if you'd like me to prove it to you." "No, this is mold. I'm calling corporate. You guys are going to get blasted." And I was just having a bad day. So I kind of drilled in her. I'm like, "Ma'am, this is how this is supposed to look. I promise you." I pulled out our pan from backline, like, "Look, this is what is on your sandwich. This is how they look. As a matter of fact, this is a fresh batch. I just made this one up today. So this is how it's supposed to look. If you want to get mad, fine, but the sandwich is 7 days old. I cannot refund you. Have a good day."
Yeah.
And she would not leave my front counter. So I said, "Okay, ma'am, I'm going to go grab them from the freshest spot I can." I grabbed them from the freezer, big old bag of them. I rip it open. I'm like, "Ma'am, this is what they look like in their frozen state. They are not moldy. You are holding onto a sandwich that is 7 days old. Please
Yeah.
throw it away." I even offered to make her a new one just so she would get out of my face. But she was just adamant that we're trying to poison her. And what was funny, she wasn't at our store. She went to one down in Madison. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you handled that probably a lot nicer than I would have.
Oh, trust me. When I was in that business, I developed a whole secondary side of me that once I walked out the front step of those doors, he stayed at that doorway.
I don't deal with the whole. I'm sorry for I'm like if it's something like that where it's like a ridiculous sound and they're like especially the whole like threat to call corporate. My go-to line is "fucking go for it." Like
My next story works on that perfectly.
yeah, I'm like I do not need this job that badly, and I'm
Yeah.
confident that I'm not gonna lose it because you call corporate.
Oh yeah.
Like
The amount of
so
times people
fucking
have
go for it.
threatened the amount of times people have threatened to call corporate on me, and I maintained my job for close to 8 years, shows you how little people don't actually give a fuck and they just want results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
I have. Sorry, let me. I have one
yep,
short little story that
yep.
like is along those same lines. So we had one person at my old job. I used to work at. They called it a retire or a nursing home, but it was, or no, they called it a rehab facility, geriatric rehab facility. It was a
Okay.
fucking nursing home. No one ever fucking left that place after rehab. But anyway,
Oh,
yeah, really shitty place. Don't go there. I won't name it because legal shit, but.
Yeah.
Um, it happens
legally.
to be in Sun City, and has a name that, kind of goes along with that. It's not exactly the best
Eh.
choice, of nursing home. Um, there's all the hints you should need. Anyway, uh, yeah, so this place sucks. God, I hope we don't get sued.
They're specifically looking for this podcast now. Way to go.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll be fine, probably. Anyway, so yeah, at least when I worked there, it was a really bad experience for me. Um, and we had one resident that used to like if we had anything that had sauce on it, she would complain that there wasn't enough sauce on it. And
Uh,
it did not matter what it was every single time. And we knew that because we only had like 200 residents or something like that. So after working there for a while, you kind of get to know all of the residents. But yeah, so anytime we had something with sauce on there, we would immediately put extra sauce on it right away.
Drench it.
Which apparently we weren't supposed to do because they have like very specific dietary requirements and stuff. But
restraints and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would basically like scream and like shut down the whole freaking dining room if she didn't get extra sauce.
Ew.
So we put extra sauce on there, and it was like clockwork. Every time we'd send it out, and like 5 minutes later, it would come back, didn't have enough sauce on it, and like the one day, the like cook on the other side that was like actually putting the food together, like actually just I think we were having like gravy. It was like potatoes and gravy or something. And there was basically a puddle of gravy on the plate afterward, and we send it out, and the lady
like clockwork.
And again, 5 minutes later it comes back. Like even the like nurse or whatever that brought it back was like, I don't know how, but she said there's not enough sauce on it.
Oh,
like there's literally a puddle of gravy around the plate. So yeah, after that we were just like, all right, it's just gonna happen. Like it got to the point where when her like ticket would come up, we would just make like 2 plates, like one with the normal amount of sauce and one with extra sauce, and he'd just set it there. Because then when the person comes back in 5 minutes, they just here you go, give them the other plate.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah. So it's just like, how do you? That just proves that some people
cannot be pleased,
and they're just like they have like complaints like preloaded, basically. Like they're going to complain regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to be antagonizing.
Yeah. And she wasn't, for the record, if anyone's questioning it, she was not one of the people that was in, like, the dementia or Alzheimer's wing. Like, she was not diagnosed Alzheimer's or schizophrenia or any mental disorder. She was just...
Maybe she was just Italian.
As far as we understand, she was just a naggy old lady.
Maybe she was Italian.
But, like, other than that, she was a decent person, but that was super annoying.
Yeah. Okay, so my last story, and then we'll close this out. So, closing time. Again, same food place, because out of my, close to 10 years, 12 years in the workforce, spent most of my time here.
Gross.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, again, another night, I'm there by myself. I've gotten to the point at this job where I could work by myself and still get out well within like a 30-minute time frame. I got that good at the job. So I realized, trust me, I know. I'm glad I don't have to go back to that kind of job. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, I'm doing my work. I kind of lose track of time a little bit. Not horribly. I'm like maybe 2-3 minutes after close. I'm like, oh crap, I got to go lock the door. So I grab my keys because a lot of people will see that I have keys in my hand. It didn't actually lock from the inside, it locked from the outside, but there was a little lock thing inside, So I grab my keys, walk to the front door. I have my fingers on the deadbolt to shut it. This guy pushes the door in my face. Not even like a slight, like, hey, you still open? No. He straight arms the door into me.
That wasn't a question, it was a demand.
Pretty much. And like, it hits me in the face. I'm like, sir, first of all, you just hit me with the door. Secondly, I'm sorry, we're actually closed right now. Oh, it'll be quick. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, to please the last customer, I'll be quick, get them out, and be done for the day. Because I actually had to open the next morning anyway, so I didn't care if the store looked like a mess. I was going to be there in fucking 8 hours anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll go and make your food. What would you like? He orders 2 of the hardest sandwiches to make. Mind you, I loved the sandwich. I really did. And that's why whenever I used to order it, it is no longer available on the menu because they removed all kinds of pork product, which actually upsets me. But it involved ham, salami, pepperoni, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, banana peppers, a garlic aioli, and a red wine vinaigrette, all on a hoagie bun. Mind you, The meat needs to be prepared separately. It needs to be weighed, counted, all that kind of stuff. It took time to make this sandwich. So on top
Jeez.
of him already ordering two, he has a coupon, which, I'm already blood boiling at this point. I'm like, okay, sir, I'll make your sandwiches and I'll get you out for the night. Just trying to be as customer friendly as possible. While deep down, I want to throw something at him because he hit me with a door.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to like glove up and go make the food. And he's like, hey, I want a water cup too. So, mind you, at that company, policy usually stated you could go no larger than a small soda cup for water because, yeah, some people want a lot of water. That's fine. The cups cost like next to nothing to make. He's like, no, I want a bigger one. Okay, not supposed to, but I'll give you the medium size. No, I want the big one. And this particular fast food company is known for their rather large soda drinks at about 40 ounces for a large. Like, this thing's massive. He's like, I want that one. I'm like, well, sir, that's actually our large soda cup. If you want that one, I'll have to charge you for, like a small soda even. Well, why are you charging me if I'm just going to put water in it? I'm like, sir, that's kind of company policy. I already gave you time after we're closed to make your food. I apologize. This is something I kind of had to put my foot down on. He's like, well, I'm going to call corporate then. And I snapped at him. Like, I actually, my customer service person walked out the door at this point. I said, yes, sir. You go ahead and tell them that, first of all, you straight armed the door into my face after closing. You demanded that I make your food, which I was more than happy to. And then on top of that, you used a coupon, which you used on the hardest fucking sandwich that to make. And then you're demanding a free soda? Absolutely not. This man, I've never, like, I don't talk like that normally to people. This man shut down so quickly, he actually walked out. He had already paid for his food, and he walked out, like head down, apologizing to me. He didn't want his food anymore. He just wanted to be out of my door. And yeah, that's one of the few times I have actively snapped on a customer for treating me like shit.
Yeah, good. Anyway, that
Yeah.
that whole mentality of like the customer is always right shit always pisses me off.
Fuck
Like,
that.
it's absolute bullshit. The
Yeah.
person that came up with that probably never worked in customer
The customer.
service.
No,
Always a
actually,
customer.
what was funny was it was a boss, like a manager of a company, who later on, it was like the same thing with like the, vaccines caused autism kind of bullshit where,
Hmm.
oh yeah, here's a study that does this. In reality, a month later, he's like, no, I've never met a more wrong group of people in my life than a customer. They are dumb, they don't know what they're doing, and they cannot. And by this point, it had already spread. It was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said the magic words in that, and it is again gonna be another little goggles
Tangent.
pro tip. And this I can actually say I'm pro because I am technically a professional customer service person. Uh,
Ah.
if you work in customer service, use the hell out of that company policy line.
Oh yeah.
Like, obviously, don't do it to be a bastard. Like, do it,
But like if
like
you're
if it's
uncomfortable with
genuinely like a
something
thing
or
that is not your fault, don't try to like justify it and be like, well, I just thought, but just be like, sorry, it's company policy. That's just what I have to do. Like, lean on the company. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Bring
not
them
even
down
that,
with you
like
instead.
and not even that, but like with my story there, how if the customer is actively doing something to make you mad, don't fly off the handles. Don't risk your job over it, but stand your ground. Don't get pushed by them because yeah, at the end of the day, they feel your paycheck, but they don't pay your paycheck. People get that so confused, and I realized that near the end of my little stint at that restaurant that yeah, admittedly they put money into the bank that pays me, but they are not the ones putting the money directly into my account. They
Yeah.
do not matter. If they want to get snappy because I didn't serve their sandwich hot enough and I offered to remake it, fine. They can sit there and have their own hissy fit and call corporate and this and that. Corporate can come down on me. Well, why didn't you remake it? Well, I offered to, but they didn't want it. As long as you go through the proper channels and do your job like you're supposed to, customers can do nothing to you. They can sit, like, obviously that is taking out of the account that people that actually assault employees like that, which if you're one of those people, go go take a long walk off a short bridge. I don't care. That fucking who
I
was it?
see.
Jim Carrey.
I
Was
thought
it?
you were gonna be a lot less rude about that, and I was gonna have to correct you. Like if you're the type of person that
No.
physically assaults a customer service employee because you're unhappy with the service, get fucked, go away, like,
Rotten jail.
go drown in a lake or something. I don't care.
But
Legal
like no, Jim
disclaimer:
Carrey.
don't actually kill yourselves.
Yeah, don't kill
Well,
yourself,
yeah,
but just
don't,
take a good take a good look in the mirror. And Jim
I
Carrey, in
just
my opinion, said
mean
it best.
that if you're going to physically assault a person because you don't like how they're acting, then you need to fucking do something
Grow up.
about that, because yeah, we don't need
But
that
like,
kind of person.
no, Jim
Fix
Carrey had,
yourself.
yeah, Jim Carrey had said this a while back. He's like, if you're gonna sit there and scream at a customer service person, go home and yell at your microwave. You're gonna have a lot better chance of getting it wrong. And like that's how, and everyone I've talked to in this kind of industry has said, like, yeah, now that I've worked, and I've met like 60-year-olds that had that same mentality, and they worked with me for 2 weeks, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe I acted like that. It's like, yeah, when you see it from the other side, you real and this is kind of going into a little bit of like generations. I have never met a more both ends. I've never met a more rude group of people and a more understanding group of people. The rude people are the ones that taught us be polite to others, use your manners, yada yada. I have never met someone so inconsiderate to fast food workers than that age group. And then on the opposite end, people like 15 to their 30s are the most kind and understanding people I've ever met. And I stopped off at a Taco Bell a while back, and it was a late night. I knew something was up because when I pulled up, the lady was like, "Hey, food's just gonna take a minute. We're a little, short staffed." And I asked her, I'm like, "Hey, how many people do you have in there?" She's like, "Well, it's just me and one other person." I whipped out 2 20s out of my pocket. I'm like, "Here, I understand you guys have had a long day. Go get yourself something nice. Go grab a bite to eat. Go grab a drink. Treat yourselves." And they started crying. I felt so horrible, but at the same time, I'm like,
I feel like those would
if
be
we,
like tears of joy. I wouldn't
no,
feel bad about it, but
no, they were, but like deep down, I'm like, these people were on the brink of tears, and just this kind gesture got them to the point of actually crying, and
yeah.
I felt good. I felt good for it, being like showing some humanity. But it's like people that work those jobs shouldn't have to deal with that. That's unfair. There's a lot of those people are just going at the end of their day. They're paying their bills. They're going home to the people they want to see or to the pets they have, and they're just living their life. They don't need that kind of fucking degradation by people that don't understand the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah, I think with that we should start wrapping up. So, yeah, in
Yeah.
short,
Be
don't be a
kind.
dick. Quit being a dick.
Yeah.
Just be nice. It's not
Be
that
nice to
hard.
people. You don't know what they're going through. We
Consider
all
what
go
you
through different
say
things.
before you say them.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
really not that hard to
And when I
be
call
a
you a
decent
bitch,
person.
understand I thought long and hard about it. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode. If you didn't watch the first episode, actually, we talked about some conventions and convention tips, uh, and some of our stories. Feel free to go watch that. That should be linked somewhere wherever this website allows me to. If you're watching it on YouTube, that'll be at the top of the description. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and if you guys want to watch our actual normal YouTube where we play video games, I will also link that. That is Procrastination Nation. Other than that, you guys got any other remarks?
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, feel like definitely go back and watch the other podcast, episode 1. It's much more lighthearted and fun.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
very.
So feel free to watch them out of order. Watch the downer one first, and then
I
the
wouldn't
upper
say
one.
it's a downer. It's just real
Yeah.
It's just
life.
But anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, you can find actually all of our links at linktree.com/, Procrastination Nation Studio. That's all our Twitter, TikTok, fucking Instagram, YouTube, all that shit.
Patreon, if you want to support us, we do have multiple ranges starting at $1 all the way up to, I think the last one is like $25 a month.
I think
You
so.
don't have to. You don't have to commit. If you want to just donate $1, you're more than welcome to. I'll also link the PayPal for that. I think we have in the link tree as well, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Linktree's
Yeah.
on the link tree.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Bye.